Now, here is GHS-TV executive producer Allison Long with this month's SCS Focus.
Homelessness among Memphis-Shelby County students increased 180% from last fall. That's a startling and heartbreaking number. Here to help us better understand this issue is Dr. Angela Hargrave, Executive Director of Student Equity, Enrollment, and Discipline, and Dr. Karen Ball-Jackson, Senior Manager of Federal Programs. Thank you so much for joining us. So in this research and the data that we received, the number of homeless students has increased 80% plus, as we heard, over the past 4 years. What do you attribute to this growth in the homeless situation?
So there are a number of factors that have impacted our country as a whole, but here in Memphis, I think that we see that there was already some instability for many of our families prior to the pandemic, and since the pandemic, that only heightened the difficulties that families were having just to maintain daily necessities of life. So loss of jobs, sickness. So many of our families were just tremendously impacted by COVID with the death of family members and long-term illness that really just put them in the hole, so to speak, financially.
And can you describe what we're talking about when we say homeless? Like, it's not just not having a roof over your head. So I know there's more to it than that. Can you explain?
Yes, we have to adhere to the guidelines of the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act. All public education facilities or districts have to adhere to this particular law. And McKinney-Vento specifically defines homelessness as anyone who lacks a adequate fixed nighttime residence. You know, many of our families are doubled up. We have families that are staying in hotels. We have families that are living in their cars. We've even heard of families living in storage shelters. So again, that's anyone who does not have a place that they can go to every night. The same place would be considered homeless as defined by McKinney-Vento.
I can only imagine that that would be a difficult task to identify and find those students who are considered homeless. How does Memphis-Shelby County Schools go about getting that information?
Okay, so identification is a huge challenge for us. Prior to this year, we had 3 people on the ground working, trying to identify families. We relied heavily on the schools, so we're always training administrators, front office staff to identify. We relied on the community to share that information with us. You know, anyone can call us and say, hey, this family is experiencing hardship. They don't have any place to go. I know they're not in school because they don't have anywhere to live. So anyone in the community can share that information with us. This year, with assistance from the American Rescue Plan and district leaders, you know, they were really pushing to, you know, let's do something about this. We got to handle this. We got to, you know, do a better job at identifying these families. So we were able to put in place what we call transition specialists. The transition specialists, they're divided among all of the schools in the district as well as those charters that are supported by the district. And specifically, they work with school staff to provide ongoing training, ongoing technical assistance in identifying and supporting and serving families and students that are experiencing homelessness. So that's been huge for us this year.
Mm-hmm. What is the impact on educational outcomes for students who are experiencing homelessness?
Well, you know, if students are not able to attend school regularly, you know, obviously that is going to have a negative impact because they're not receiving instruction and not able to really benefit from all of the things that are happening during the school day. But even oftentimes, even when they are attending school, if they are just dealing with the stress and the uncertainty of what's going to happen after school, then they are not able to attend to school because, you know, of all of the things that they are just having to think about even while they're here. So One of the programs that we were able to implement also has been the after-school tutoring. So Dr. Ball Johnson's team actually goes out to the some of the shelters, even one of the hotels that houses a large population of students. They are able to go out in the evenings and provide academic tutoring to help with the academics.
So you mentioned the McKinney-Vento Act, and how does that help protect students who are in a homeless situation?
So the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act provides specific guidelines for districts to follow. We have to enroll them immediately with or without records, and we have to provide them with supports that are going to ensure that they're able to attend school daily and be ready to learn. So the supports that we provide include transportation, uniform vouchers. We also provide school supplies. We pay fees when there's a fee. In certain cases, we even pay aftercare, before and after care for parents, because there are some situations where parents don't have anybody in the city. They don't have family, they don't have a support circle. So if they're going to work to get out of this situation, they have to have childcare. So we just try and we look at each situation on a case-by-case basis, and we just conduct the needs assessment, and based on what we find the needs are, we try our best to meet them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I appreciate you both stopping by and helping us talk through the needs of some of our students. Schools are more than just a place where students learn and grow, but to have a school system that helps meet basic needs is also important. So I appreciate what you do.